Okay, MegaWhale team, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. In today's video, we are doing a comprehensive short-term and macro analysis discussing exactly what is happening with the recent rally toward the upside, followed by the CPI correction, how the altcoin market is responding, exactly what needs to happen for a continuation upward for both Bitcoin and the altcoin market, and whether or not this short-term impulse upwards is nothing more than a bull trap. Before we get into it, smash the like button, hit the comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos for Bitcoin, focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you are interested in, join us on Telegram. This is the first link down below. You will get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop with cryptocurrency with Bitcoin and the relevant economic news. And if you were interested in taking your trading to the next level, join us on VIP by clicking the pinned comment in the free channel. Click my name, click the first link to find a 50+ month trading track record, or click the second link to find a 10+ minute video showing you inside the channel. You'll get access to two channels: the main VIP channel where we post trading setups with exact entries, targets, and stop losses, and of course our group chats where you'll get access to a multitude of different group chats with over 700+ members discussing crypto and trading on a daily basis. Check it out, we'll see you in there, and let's jump into the video. So as we can see, over the past 24 hours, we have had a whole heap of chop for Bitcoin. We have seen a massive and very quick correction toward the downside, followed by a slightly bearish CPI release, then only to see an aggressive continuation upwards to 98,000. Now, with this aggressive continuation upwards, we have not seen Bitcoin break through the prior lower high at 98.4K, which would signify a continuation, and therefore this rally might not sustain. We are going to be discussing that in today's video. Will it sustain? What needs to happen for it to sustain? And will it not sustain? Are we going to see a correction again? Now, with this move toward the upside, we have also seen the altcoin market retest a critical level of hourly resistance, this being the local horizontal high we have established on the 5th and of course the 11th of February. Retesting this level of resistance, which will prohibit a continuation upwards while we remain below. Now, if we are able to break above this level of resistance, we will very likely see the altcoin market move toward at least the 200 moving average, which is around 950, 960 billion over the coming days, which could trigger a short-term altcoin rally. You can see how important these levels of resistance currently are and why we need to see continuations. We have not yet seen that, hence why this could be setting itself up for a potential correction back down. We're going to be discussing all of that in the video. Let's move over to the market data. 24-hour volume is up 26%, sitting at 209 billion. Liquidations up 37% at 300 million, with 166 million in longs and 148 million in shorts. That is expected, of course, with the massive volatility on both the up and downside. Moving over to the DXY, we can see not really that much change. Generally, there are two levels we are keeping a very close eye on. This yearly low over here at 106 and our local weekly high at 110. Again, a break of the low will result in a continuation down. A break of the high will result in a continuation upward. We are watching targets of anywhere between 111 to 113, and of course targets of 103.5 toward the downside. Directional downward continuations, we're generally bullish for the risk asset market for Bitcoin and altcoins, where directional continuations upwards will be generally bad, as a strengthening dollar is usually a negative for the risk assets. Let's move over to the rest of the content. Moving to the S&P 500, not that much change here. For the S&P 500, we are still very, very closely watching this RSI, this downtrend on the RSI. We will need to see a momentum shift to be confident in a continuation upwards. What does that mean? That simply means we are watching for a breakout of the downtrend on the RSI to signify that the buyers are back in control and they can push the price up. Until that happens, the potential for a correction is on the cards. It is not guaranteed, but it is on the cards. And when we are looking for continuations, we want to be confident in those continuations. Hence why we are taking more of a neutral stance on the S&P, saying waiting for a positive momentum shift for a continuation. Until then, being cautiously optimistic. Now, before we get into the rest of the content, and we have so much to be taking a look at, such as the higher time frame charts, the weekly and daily ranges, the short-term critical levels and potential next moves, and even the altcoin market, go ahead and sign up to BitGet, BUnix, or BingX with the links down below. You'll get a lifetime trading fee discount of 15 to 45% off all your trading fees by using those links. You'll support me making the content and you'll support yourself in your trading journey. Check it out, join up, and we'll see you back in a second. If you are looking for a new exchange or just want to support the channel, sign up to BitUnix with the link down below. You'll get a lifetime trading fee discount of 15%, which can build up to 45% based on your trading volume, as well as access to a bonus reward center, and of course, all of the exclusive campaigns we run on this exchange. You'll also get access to BitUnix being a non-KYC exchange, meaning you can sign up from anywhere in the globe without regulations. And most importantly, I only promote exchanges I trust and I use. As you can see, I trade on BitUnix very regularly, being the highest VIP level with over $500 million in trading volume for the last 30 days. And lastly, if you were interested in signing up to our other two exchanges, BingX or BitGet, you can also do that via the links down below. You as well will get the 15% trading fee discount and everything else that comes with it. Go ahead and sign up. Thank you for supporting. Let's jump back in. Okay guys, let's go ahead and jump back in. I want to take a look at the altcoin market to start off with. There's a lot of people are discussing the altcoin market, as we have seen a fairly large rally for some altcoins on the short term over the past couple days. Now, starting on the higher time frame for the altcoin market, we can see we do have a very important level of support sitting just below us. And this level of support is going to be actually a yearly level of support spanning back since the dead cat bounce higher after the 2021 top. That is sitting at the $840 billion level. You can see just recently we had a massive liquidation week into this region. However, thankfully, we were able to sustain and close above this region. This level is basically going to be determining whether or not we have potential to move toward the upside, or if we drop below, we are much more likely to see a correction much lower. So it's very important we sustain above this region. If we move over to a daily chart, we can see the retest of this region lining relatively closely to that 200 moving average. And most importantly, we do have a downtrend on momentum. We have a very clear trend line signifying that momentum has been negative and has been moving down ever since the first high at 1.13 trillion, which is the 2021 top. We are watching, number one, we are watching for a breakout on the RSI to signify a positive momentum shift, which would increase the probability for a continuation back to 1.13 trillion. Until that occurs, the potential for corrections remain still on the cards. So we want to be confident on the higher time frame that the buyers are back in control and altcoins as a whole have the momentum to continue higher. We need to see that RSI breakout. If we zoom to an even smaller time frame, there is a very important level we are watching on the 4-hour here and on the hourly, and that is going to be the current level of resistance we are challenging. This is the current level of resistance the altcoin market has climbed up to following the post-CPI rally. Now, of course, this actually is a level of resistance we have now established and retested only a few days ago on the 11th. This is going to be our lower high region. We need to break above this region and sustain above this region to see the next leg up for altcoins, likely taking us closer to that $1 trillion target. If we do not break through this level of resistance, the potential for corrections back down for altcoins remain on the cards. So you can almost consider this a point of decision, a decision point. If we do not break through here, this being a critical level of resistance, we will likely see this rally not sustain and we will see a correction. However, if we do break through here, this could be the trigger point to signify, well, some money is going to move back into altcoins, and the altcoin market actually might see a period of short-term bullish rallies, which we could definitely capitalize on. So we were paying very close attention to this high. Now, if we look at a lot of specific individual altcoins, a lot of individual altcoins have a very similar pattern over here, where they're now retesting a local neckline of resistance. Again, if you know how to trade necklines and horizontals, when these horizontals break, we generally see continuations in the direction of which the horizontal breaks, provided momentum on the short term is in alignment with the direction of which the price action breaks. I mean, if we have negative momentum when we break these highs, we could see deviations. However, if we have positive momentum, we could see continuations. So you're watching both the hourly momentum and of course this hourly horizontal resistance. Keep your eyes on that, guys. So I wouldn't be overly bullish on entering massive altcoin positions here. We are at a level of resistance, but the time for altcoin positions again are coming relatively close if we are able to break through that region. Now, I wanted to get out of the way first because we do need to take a look at Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is showing a lot of similarities in its key short-term levels. If we zoom out to a 4-hour and even a daily chart for Bitcoin first and foremost, we can see we have got our high time frame range. Our range is simply between our range low, the red line, and the range high, the red line. We know horizontal consolidations are neutral patterns, and if we take a look at prior horizontal consolidations, such as the one over here, when we see directional breakouts with positive momentum shifts of the range high or range low, we see strong and usually sustained continuation. So this is an example of the consolidation we had back in 2023. This is now going to be an example of the consolidation we have in again 2025. Now, what we can notice on this consolidation is that during the entire period of this consolidation, momentum has been moving negative. If we take a look at a consolidation on the weekly chart we had last year, and this spanned back essentially the entirety of last year, which was that macro descending channel formation, what we saw was after we had a positive momentum shift, this was on the weekly, it was a much longer consolidation, we saw the positive momentum shift happen on this candle, which is again September 2024. After we saw the momentum shift, the positive momentum shift, that is when we saw the eventual breakout and continuation. If we take a look at the prior retests, every single one of these prior retests were unable to sustain only until we actually saw the momentum shift on the weekly. That is when we saw the price action sustain. So we move back to our daily RSI here with the current price action being a smaller consolidation. We are watching the daily. The same principle applies. For us to be confident we are going to see continuations upwards, we need to see that RSI breakout. As we can see, we are still quite some waves away from that RSI, and therefore this consolidation likely still has a fair bit left until it is ready to make a move. Now, with these horizontal consolidations, the directional continuation is determined by the directional break. Therefore, the probabilities are more or less neutral. They're equal for directional continuations upwards on the higher time frame and downwards, as this is a neutral consolidation. It is simply a representation. The market is a representation of people's decisions and thoughts, okay? Thoughts control decisions, decisions control, again, whether they purchase or sell, and those decisions reflect themselves in the candles we see on the charts. So at the moment, economically, there is a lot of indecision. There's indecision around interest rates, okay? There's indecision around how the tariffs are going to affect the Federal Reserve's decisions to adjust these rates in future periods. And with that indecision, knowing that one of the major drivers of risk asset markets is economic policy that's mainly controls around what influences the strength of the dollar and the cost of debt, being interest rates, we can see that indecision taking a hold of the charts, which has caused us to be in this horizontal consolidation. The sellers are not confident enough to push the price lower because we do not have clarity on the future interest rate decisions being negative, nor are the buyers confident in pushing the price action aggressively higher because we do not want to get ahead of ourselves before we get clarity surrounding those interest rates. So you can see how economic uncertainty actually develops and physically represents itself over here in the price action as a consequence of affecting people's emotions and thoughts and thus decisions and therefore the price. So until we get more clarity surrounding economic and monetary policy around the tariffs, around what the Federal Reserve is going to do, around how inflation is developing, it is unlikely we're going to see definitive directional continuations in the price action. So it is more important that we focus on what are the potential consequences of those breakouts when they do occur, And how can we get an indication of those breakouts going to occur before they do? And one of the ways we look at that is, again, leading indicators such as momentum. We look for absorption. We look for positive momentum shifts. We look for indications that the buyers are aggressively gaining strength at a rate of which greater than we have seen prior within the same ranges of consolidation. So we're watching for, again, that momentum shift to be confident that the buyers are going to push the price action upwards. If we take measured moves, we can see distance, again, height to the top to the bottom. We apply to the breakdown. That gives us a target of 69,000. Apply to the top. That gives us a target of 128,000. So we know that a break of this range will likely result in a strong directional move for the market. And we know that a break of the range low could result in a market top, where a break of the range high will likely continue what is expected from the 4-year cycle and continuations for the next few months toward the upside. So it's very important we do see a break toward the upside, but we cannot be confident we're going to see that until we get more clarity. Now, with the developing uncertainty and with that uncertainty, we have seen Bitcoin dominance skyrocket. And as a consequence of economic uncertainty developing into the charts, we see the more speculative assets within an asset class sell off, which is why we're seeing the altcoin market take such a massive hit in comparison to Bitcoin, when Bitcoin has been mainly just moving sideways because of that uncertainty. So we can see how all of those dots are connected. We can see all of those different bridges kind of come together and meet in the middle to give us an overall narrative, which is the reason the price action has been so choppy. The reason the price action is in this consolidation stems completely and utterly back to the developing and current uncertainty around the interest rate decisions, and that all the different avenues and factors the Federal Reserve need to take into consideration, which are new, such as tariffs, and old, okay, such as their targets for inflation, which go to impact the potential for future interest rate reductions. So we need to keep our eyes on that. But from a perspective of the charts, we know that if we look at the weekly chart, we can get an indication of if we're going to see continuations up or down. We are watching for sentiment shifts. Now, the weekly chart is a good one for sentiment shifts, particularly when we're watching the candle closes, not the wicks, we're watching the candles. If we see a candle close below the weekly low or above the weekly high, this could be an indication of direct continuations on the market, and we could use that as an early sign for continuations to our daily highs and daily lows, which sit at the trend lines, which we know the red lines are the trigger points for continuations up or down. Let's move to the short-term price action. As we can see, Bitcoin has seen a rally, but it has not sustained enough. We have not seen this rally move up enough to be confident this will sustain. If we see the price action Bitcoin break this next level of high, this high point at 98,400, that is when we are confident we will see a continuation upwards and the altcoin market will likely break through. Until that happens, this rally is not out of the woods. The market is not safe to continue higher. There is a potential we do see corrections here for Bitcoin and for the altcoin market after what has been a pretty surprising and aggressive rally. So we do need to keep in mind, guys, resistance is resistance until it is not. If we want to be confident in the higher time frame trend, we need to break this downtrend. This is going to be another leading indicator for higher time frame continuations. That is it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Have a fantastic day. Catch you tomorrow. See you then.